Okay, cool. All right. So, baby, I need like, you can see everything. You can see me doing the dough.
I'm a professional cameraman. Don't you worry about it.
All right. All right, you guys, let's get this started. Am I going to be able to hear people talking, or am I going to be talking to myself?
So I'll be moderating for you. So if anyone has questions, please kindly put them in the chat. If you could mute yourself, that would actually be great. Otherwise, the camera will do crazy things where it will look at all of our lovely faces, which, you know, might not necessarily be a bad thing, but, you know. So yeah, the way this will go is I'll kind of just let you know if anyone has questions, I'll ask questions, and then we'll do our thing. But yeah, so this is Bake the Vote with Focus on Health and Chef Rodriguez over here. We're really excited to have her on. This is an initiative that was started with the Bakers Against Racism group, and they're really pushing boundaries with food and beverage fields right now. And I'm just really happy that we were able to do this in such short notice, and how it's coming all together. So without further ado, I will let Chef introduce herself, and then we can get started.
Hey guys, I'm so excited. So I'm Chef Thais Rodriguez. And as Lauren was saying, we are doing this for Bake the Vote, something that's very important and near and dear to, I hope, all of our hearts. And so, yeah, so this is the Poptarts Edition here in our home in the Cayman Islands. Our beautiful kitchen that my husband cleaned really well this morning. So yeah, so we're gonna start. I hope all of you made already your pie dough. And if you haven't and you're gonna make this afterwards or you're gonna watch it later, then that's great also. The whole idea behind this is to make these Pop-Tarts, try to sell them or share them with your family so that we can promote funds for, or raise funds for the vote. So let's get started on our rolling of the pie dough. So have your pie dough. Does everybody have this? Yes. Cool. So we're going to, I let this out, let it rest for about 10, 15 minutes, just to let it soften. It probably doesn't even need that long. Usually I do that for a lot longer when I'm in the kitchen, just because it's an industrial refrigerator and it's a lot colder. But this is a normal fridge, so it should be pretty soft already if you have just taken it out. So what we're gonna do is we're going to flour. We're going to flour our dough so that it doesn't stick. And what I like to do is I have parchment paper on top of my cutting board, only because it's just easier to transport the dough once you're done rolling it. So you don't have to have too many of those steps in between to get the dough from the cutting board to another piece of parchment to the fridge. This is just a one stop and go. So make sure that you flour your dough pretty well, because you don't want it to stick to your rolling pin. Okay, and then flour some of the parchment paper as well. Everybody okay so far?
I think so. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Should our ovens be preheating at this point or no?
While we make the filling, we can preheat the ovens. It's just 350. It's not going to take that long, unless your oven takes very long. But when we cut the dough, we can start to preheat the oven, because just the process of making the filling and filling is going to be enough time for you to preheat your oven. Trying to save energy costs here. All right, so whatever kind of rolling pin you have, do not judge me. This is the cardboard from plastic wrap paper that we have in the kitchen. And it's actually really great. But if you don't have a rolling pin, just find whatever that's round, like a wine bottle or a bottle, whatever kind of bottle that's round. And you can roll dough with it. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna start in the center. You're gonna place your rolling pin here in the center. You're just gonna go up, okay? Then you're gonna turn your dough and go up again. Try to always go in the same movement. Don't try to like go back and forth and side to side on the dough, because that's just gonna heat the butter even faster, and you're gonna stretch your dough too thin and unevenly. So it should be spreading out pretty easily right now. Just keep turning it and keep going in the upward motion of rolling the dough. What we're trying to get here is a rectangle, or as close to a rectangle as we can possibly get. because we are going to cut this into 9 pieces, into 9 rectangles for the Pop-Tarts. Is everybody rolling? All right. So just get it out to as thin as you can without having it be like paper thin. You don't want it to be like parchment. Once I get to the desired thickness, I will take a close up and I will have you look at that. If you can't get it into a perfect rectangle or whatnot, do not worry. We're gonna trim the edges anyway. So try to focus more on the thickness of your dough. Try to move your hands around it just to make sure that it's still even and that it hasn't stuck to the paper. If you feel like yours is getting stuck, just add a little bit more flour to the base. If you feel it's getting stuck on the top, just add a little more flour to the top as well.
I'm not gonna lie, being a bartender by trade, I feel really fancy right now. And I mean, it's flour, butter, water, sugar, and I'm over here like, oh, look what I
know.
do.
It's crazy though, like just the combination of those ingredients and the proportions, you get like a really great fluffy, flaky dough. All right, so I'm gonna take my cardboard off actually because I feel like it's limiting my capacity right now to stretch.
Okay,
So-
so mine's like this like V thing and it keeps splitting.
What'd you say?
Keep trying, all right?
It's like I'm like creating like a pizza piece.
Sure, it's fine. Just let me see the edges.
So like I keep rolling it and this V keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Okay, so what happens when that happens, what you do is you can just bring your hands together and just like form it back. It's dough, so kind of treat it like you would like Play-Doh, I guess. If it's breaking, then you can put it back together because it should be pretty soft. So like if I tear this piece right here, right, kind of like what you have, I can just put it back together and press it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The warmer the dough is, the easier it is to like kind of put it back together again.
Cool. Because mine is very, very soft. I can't even move it on my board.
Oh, really?
Yeah, mine's like really chilled.
Yeah, I didn't give mine enough time to warm up, so I was like breaking it before I rolled it and now taking odd shapes. So I'm trying to like roll it and put it back together at the same time.
Okay, so when that happens, if your dough is like really tough to roll out, just let it rest for a little bit. Let the temperature come down or come up so that it's easier to roll. And that's totally fine. Like that happens. Again, it depends on how cold your fridge is or how cold it is in your house. I know we have the AC on here, but it's still pretty warm. It's like, it's comfortable.
And y'all are talking to Chicago and New York over here, so.
I know, I'm like AC.
So we'll just keep rolling it out. And then the desired thickness that you want, if you can come closer to the, kind of, you want it to be, you don't want it to be paper thin. You want it to have some kind of texture still though, right? Because we don't want like the filling to kind of seep through.
In the instance that it is too thin, do we fold it over? Like, what do you advise that we do?
If it's too thin, it's not the end of the world. Honestly, this dough is very forgiving. And because of all of the butter that's in it, the layers regardless are gonna come up. It's still gonna be flaky. I've re-rolled this dough, not this one in particular, but like when we'll cut it, when we have the trimmings, I reuse the trimmings and I roll it out and it's still great. So this dough is a really forgiving dough.
Okay.
So try not to, don't beat yourself up about it. So when you're done rolling, place this dough in the fridge. There's two ways to put it in. So you can either roll it around the rolling pin and place it on top like this, or you can leave it on your parchment, which you already have, and just carry it over. And then just place that in the fridge so that it can harden. How are we doing?
How does this look? I can't even tell.
I need to see it. I need to see her, baby.
I don't know how to reverse this.
Let me get this.
You don't need me anymore?
All right, so yeah, that looks good, Lauren. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, that looks good. Just put that in the fridge. And then once it's cooled down, you'll be able to take it off of the cutting board a lot easier.
Okay.
Yes, get it, Neray. Lisa, how you doing over there?
It's a weird shape, but I think the thickness is all right.
Yeah, don't worry about the shape. The shape is fine.
What I got.
It's okay. Yeah.
Yay.
The shape, don't worry about the shape because we're gonna trim it. Okay. So it's all good. All right, so let's move on to the filling. So for the filling, you're gonna need, I love that you just wiped your wine bottle, Lauren. I love it. For the filling, it's going to be the brown sugar. I hope you guys all have that ready, but it's the 3/4 cups of brown sugar, 1 tablespoon of flour, 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, some melted butter, salt, and vanilla. So if we can get that ready so that we can go to the filling part.
So I realized something. I only have sugar in the raw. I don't know if I can do that, use that and add water, or is there any sort of compromise I can make there?
No, what I would recommend is that you add probably more butter so that it's not as grainy. It's more kind of coagulated because the problem with the sugar in the raw is that it's super loose.
Yeah, it's coarse.
Yeah, and it's coarse. So yeah, I would probably, instead of 2 tablespoons of butter, I'd probably do 3 to 4, kind of wing it just to see. What we want is to make sure that it comes together so that it's easy to scoop inside of the Pop-Tart dough. Right. All right, we got our filling stuff ready. Cool. So it's going to be 3/4 cup of brown sugar, dark brown sugar. If you have light brown sugar, that works too. And as Lauren pointed out, if you don't have raw brown sugar, or sorry, if you have raw brown sugar, which is like more coarse, what I would suggest is just to add a little bit more butter so that it comes together. Or even if you have like maple syrup, to add that so it kind of gets more molassesy also to get that texture, you could do that as well. So add your brown sugar. We're gonna do a tablespoon of flour. Then you're gonna do a tablespoon of ground cinnamon. Oh, I think it's okay. I want to see what they're doing. 2 tablespoons of melted butter. One teaspoon of vanilla. And we're gonna do a pinch of salt.
Hey, so I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a regular vanilla and then like a bourbon vanilla. Is there one that you would recommend over the other?
Ooh, definitely bourbon.
That's what I thought. Okay. Thank you.
All right, so we're just gonna mix all of this up. And this should come together pretty quickly. You can also use your hands if you want to, which I might actually go ahead and do because I like to feel what I'm making. All right, so this is the consistency that you should be getting, essentially. Lauren, I think that you should add some maple syrup if you have some to your sugar. And then, yeah, do probably a little bit more butter so you can get it to, as long as when you press it in with your hand, it can form something that stays. I am so excited to be making these Pop-Tarts. I've been making them for here in Cayman to support Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so whatever is purchased, a portion of the proceeds have been going to, or will be going to, the Breast Cancer Foundation here in Cayman. And it's actually been really, really well. So I'm excited to share this with you guys. All right. How are we doing with the filling? Awesome. All right, so now let's move on to the frosting. This is just extra. So for the frosting, the first thing we're gonna do.
I have a question. You know our other pastry dough or pie dough? Should it be out on the counter or still in the fridge?
Yeah. All right, yeah. Yeah, put that on the counter because we need to roll that out as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I do. I have it. I just rolled it already.
So this consistency is okay, right? Like it should be like kind of sticking together.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, what you want is that like when we fill it, you'll see how it's important for it to be able to like form it into a ball or form it into a shape to put in the middle. Because sugar is sugar. Once it's cooking, it's going to spread, which is what the flour does. It kind of helps to bind that. So yeah, when you're using a different kind of sugar that's loose, like the raw sugar, then you need a little bit more of a binding.
Yeah, this is delicious. I can't stop eating it.
Smells so good too.
So if you guys have your other dough, you can roll that out as well the same way that we did the first time. I'm gonna show you. So like, see how this one's a little bit thinner? I overrolled this one, just like it happens. But this one I was able to get more into like a rectangle shape just to be able to shape it better. But like I said, that's why I wanted to roll out the first one with you guys because I knew, you know, we're more likely to roll it in an abnormal, not abnormal, but like in a round direction. And so that way we can work with both sides, with one that was already prepared as like squared if it's prepared dough, and then another one that we've rolled out ourselves. So just get rolling on the second dough, so that we can assemble enough Pop-Tarts for us to snack on later. The setup in your kitchen array looks really good. Yeah.
So I was really happy that you decided to go with Pop-Tarts because I am like a sucker for sweets, and Pop-Tarts were my jam when I was a kid.
Right? It's something that's so nostalgic too, right? Because like I didn't even eat my mom never really had Pop-Tarts in the house for us. She's, she was more into like home cooking and not like, over sugary products for us. We already had enough energy as it was. But like the only reason why I know Pop-Tarts is because I would have them, like my friends would have them in school and I would have some with them, or like once I got money for chores or for doing chores or whatever, like I would go and get myself a box of Pop-Tarts. And actually my favorite ones were the strawberry ones. I know that a lot of people loved the brown sugar ones, but they discontinued that after a while, which is why I think.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why everyone on the poll said brown sugar.
Yeah, because they had it for a while, and then they discontinued it for some reason. I don't know why. I guess it was just like one of the specials, but they discontinued it. So that's why I feel like, yeah, a lot of people were like, oh my God, bring the brown sugar ones back. Yeah, I was really surprised to hear. But yeah, my favorite ones were the strawberry ones for sure. And I'm glad that we're doing this too, because I know that pie dough seems pretty intimidating, but holiday season is coming right around the corner. Like November is what, next week? We're in November, right? Yeah. So y'all gonna be making a lot of pies, and I hope Pop-Tarts as well. And this pie dough is really useful for that. So you can make it with pies. I use it for quiches also, like for a quiche base, because it doesn't have too much sugar and it has a good amount of salt. So you can use it for both sweet and savory dishes. So the quiche bakes really well with this. Pop-Tarts, obviously, pies, and whatever else. Like, oh, I also made a tarte tatin with this. So like usually for tarte tatin, you have like a puff pastry, but you can also just cover whatever fruit with this pie dough, put it in the oven and flip it around, and you have a tarte tatin, and it was great.
Wait, hold on. What's a tarte tatin?
Tarte tatin. So what it is originally obviously French. They invented everything. But so it's what you do is you get a pan with like sugar, butter, vanilla, and the typical way, or the most common way, is with apples. So you have like apple halves placed on the pan. You cook it down for a little bit so that it caramelizes it. Then you put the pie dough over it and you put it in the oven so that the pie dough bakes. And then once it's baked and once it's brown, you flip it over, and it's like an upside down version of a open pie, I guess. I don't know. But that's what it is. It's kind of like an upside down cake, but with pie dough. How are we rolling there?
This one's going better.
Yeah, awesome. Yay. All right, so let me know. I think we can move on to the frosting. Okay. So for the frosting, we're gonna need that egg, that one egg that we're gonna separate. We're gonna need a little bit of salt. What is that? Coconut oil, yeah, for your egg wash. So Lauren brought up a good point this morning for, I guess, like a vegan or vegetarian egg wash, or I guess if you don't have eggs, what would you use for an egg wash? And so there's a few alternatives. One of them is coconut oil, because it is pretty mellow in flavor. You can use it for both savory and sweet pastries. Another one that you can do specifically for pastries or for pastry dough as an egg wash is I think it's 2 to 1 maple syrup to water, and that gives it a really nice glaze. You can also use like a nut milk or just any kind of nut milk or non-dairy milk if you prefer to go that way. What else? I think there was some, aquafaba. So the water from canned chickpeas, you can use that as well. I've never personally used it, but I know that when you whip it, you can make a meringue, a vegan meringue out of it. And I did read somewhere that you can use it as an egg wash substitute as well. So there are a few options out there.
What egg substitute do we use in the frosting?
I'd probably say aquafaba.
Okay, cool.
Also, there's different ways to make this frosting, right? Like I like to use the egg white base just because I think it's sturdier. And this is the same frosting that we make or that you use to make like those Christmas cookie decorations or holiday cookie decorations. You use it with an egg white base. You can also do it though with, if you don't have like aquafaba or if you don't have, eggs, or if you don't want to use eggs, honestly, you can just do powdered sugar and milk and a little bit of lemon juice and you're fine. I just like the stability that the egg whites give to the frosting.
Base, do you think like 2 ounces?
Not even.
1?
I'd probably do like, I don't know, 2 tablespoons.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, so we're gonna.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's up?
Can you say the measurements again for the frosting?
Yeah, so you're gonna have 1 egg, which we're gonna separate. So separate the egg white and put the egg yolk somewhere else because the egg yolk we'll use as the egg wash. A pinch of salt, 2 cups of powdered sugar, half a teaspoon of lemon juice and half a teaspoon of vanilla extract.
Are you gonna make it?
Yeah, we're all gonna make it.
Oh, okay. I'm like until she starts. I'm like, I got my powdered sugar, I got my salt. I'm like,
All right, so the egg white is here. Sorry, the egg yolk is here. It's separated into a different container so that we have our egg wash prepped. And then the egg white is in here. See that? Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a pinch of salt to our egg whites. What this does is it breaks down the stability of the egg whites. We don't want a stiff peak. We just want it to be whipped. And the salt also helps to cook it down a bit. We don't want raw egg whites, and that's what the lemon juice is gonna do as well. But we're just gonna whisk this so that it's nice and foamy. We just want a really good foam. a good arm workout. So when you're whipping, don't just go around. You can also go like side to side. That helps when you have a smaller bowl. Like this is a larger bowl that I have here. So it helps when I whip too fast sometimes, it kind of like overflows. But going side to side, it also helps to like relax your hand a little bit more. So once you get it to a foam like this, then you're good to go. I don't know if you can see my bowl, but yeah. Yeah, Lauren. All right, so now we're going to add our powdered sugar. Once you have your foamy egg whites, we're gonna add in the powdered sugar. Now for this part, because of the mixing in, I'm gonna switch to a fork, or maybe not. I'll do this with a whisk. So we're gonna add the powdered sugar. I'd like to do it a little bit at a time so that I don't spill or have like powdered sugar everywhere. I like to work clean.
Did you already add the lemon or that for later?
No, not yet. We're gonna do the powdered sugar first because we want to get to the right consistency, and then we'll talk about the flavorings. See that? It's already starting to come together. Actually, I am going to switch to a fork. The reason why I like to switch to a fork once it starts getting thicker is because with the whisk, a lot of it gets stuck in there. With the fork, I have a little bit more control also with the density of the frosting. The other reason why I like to add the powdered sugar little by little is because sometimes you don't even use the full 2 cups. Like it honestly depends on the size of your eggs, how many egg whites you were able to get in there. And so like this right now, this is how you want it to be. You want it to be super thick because next we're gonna add the lemon juice and you don't want it to get too watery. The only reason why frosting stays is because it's thick like this. So we're gonna add our half teaspoon of lemon juice and half a teaspoon of vanilla. Mix it. All right, and we've got our frosting. Yeah, I probably used like half a cup less. So this one went in 1.5 cups of powdered sugar is what all I needed to get to that consistency with 1 egg white. And I believe
I use the aquafaba and I haven't even gone through half a cup and it is thick. Maybe add more whipped aquafaba.
Let me see. Yeah, I mean, I would just loosen it. Yeah, add your lemon juice and your vanilla. You're fine. Add your lemon juice and vanilla.
Okay.
And if it's still pretty thick, just add a little bit of water.
Okay. Should I, because I've only added half a cup. Is that fine?
I honestly believe it's just the aquafaba chemical reaction of it all. So I think if it's already thick and if it's already staying like that, I would just say leave it. Too thick, then thin it out with some water or some nutmeg.
Okay, cool.
Like very little, like little by little, because
Half a teaspoon or something?
yeah.
So Taste, I want to show you the consistency of mine, and this
Yeah.
is like the cup of the sugar. Is that what you want?
I'm gonna zoom into yours. Hold on. Did I do it again? Yeah, that looks great.
Okay, so that's
I would
good.
even honestly, I would add a little bit more powdered sugar to yours.
Okay.
How cool is that?
All right, so what we're gonna do next is we're gonna put this to the side and we're going to trim our dough. Now is the time to preheat to 350 if you haven't already. So take out one of the pieces of the dough from your fridge. While you're working with one dough, leave the other dough in the fridge just to make sure that it maintains cold. The secret of really good flaky pie crust is to keep every ingredient as cold as possible, even once you formed it into a dough. So, maybe I need you now. Oh, okay. So we have our dough. We're going to cut it. Just come here, baby. Just to show how to do this. So we're going to trim it. Take a knife. We're going to trim it into somewhat of a rectangle. The reason why I'm not cutting super into it is because these corners, these edges, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill them out with the trimmings. So you don't have to go like super deep to get, like, if I were to do this to try to get it perfect, I'd probably go all the way here, but then we're wasting a bunch of dough. So if the corners, I can replace them, I can fill them out with the extra dough that I'm cutting out, okay? We'll fill them out once it gets a little warmer because that's basically heat is our glue. I'll just put this to the side here. And what you want to do is we're going to try to cut this piece into 9. So basically the size of a Pop-Tart is kind of like this little notepad. Okay, it's a cute little notepad too. But I'm going to use this as my guide because that's what I have. More than 9 pieces, but we'll see. Okay, we'll definitely get 6 pieces out of, at least out of this one that I cut, which is fine. And then these little ones with the funky corners, we'll just trim some of this dough. And we're just gonna do that to fill it out. use your finger, just like the heat of your body is gonna melt it so that it sticks together. Don't worry about having it like super even, because once we form the actual Pop-Tarts, we will trim the edges after we press on them with the fork to, I guess, seal it and design it. So try not to go crazy with like dimensions and, you know, if one side is less even than the other side. We'll square that off after. All right, so what you can do is you can keep these extra pieces of pie dough. You're gonna have trimmings from the other one too. And then once you combine those trimmings, you can roll it out again and make yourself some more Pop-Tart cutouts. All right, so we're gonna put this in the fridge. We're gonna take out the other dough and we're gonna do the same thing again. So again, trim the edges.
You can trim way more.
Hmm?
You're just gonna cut. See if you can trim.
It depends on the size of your dough. So as you guys can see, based on like this one, I'll be able to get more pieces. But again, it all depends on how you rolled your dough. If it wasn't precisely a rectangle like my first one was, then it's fine. We'll use the leftovers to make more Pop-Tart pieces. This is actually a great measuring tool. Okay, so once we're done cutting the second piece of dough, we'll put that in the fridge. We'll make our egg wash and we will start to fill our Pop-Tarts. You doing okay over there? Thumbs up? Kind of? Not so great? So. All right. So that egg yolk that we had separated from the egg white, we're going to add, I believe it's like a teaspoon of milk. Double check. Yeah, a teaspoon of milk or water. So what we're doing right now is we're preparing our egg wash, okay? Again, if you're using alternatives to eggs, what you can do, or if you don't have eggs, what you can do is just use the milk or you can use coconut oil or a mixture of a 2-to-1 ratio of maple syrup to water. Okay, so I'm just gonna add a teaspoon of water to this. And we're just gonna whisk it, make our egg wash. That's it, you have egg wash. Okay, if you have a pastry brush, great, it's useful. If not, use your fingers to spread the egg wash.
And then you said if I'm using coconut oil, I'm good. It's just coconut oil?
Yeah, just coconut oil. But I would say to have yourself like a little cup of water, just to make sure that when we're pressing together the pieces of dough, that the water is what's helping to seal the edges. All right. So egg wash is done. Let's form the Pop-Tarts. Let's get the filling back out. Just this. Give your frosting a little stir just to make sure we're still good over there. So grab your egg wash, pastry brush, if you have one. If not, use your fingers. Your filling. Grab a fork, because we're going to crimp those edges. All right. Let's get to filling the Pop-Tarts. All right, so what I like to do is kind of already pair the two that I will be putting together. So just cause. So let's do that. These two. These two. If you have one that doesn't have a friend, just take one of the Pop-Tarts take one of the pieces of the dough from the other dough that's in the fridge and pair it. So I'm taking one of the ones that I reshaped or that I reformed by adding the dough. This is going to be, I want this to be my bottom piece because the top piece, I want it to be smooth. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna egg wash the edges of both pieces of the dough. So this is piece one. This is the piece that goes on top. You're gonna egg wash the edge of that too. All right, so do that for all of those pieces that you have out right now. All right, this is the fun part. Okay, so we're gonna take, I like to kind of measure it out because I'm a perfectionist like that sometimes. So we're gonna do a tablespoon of the brown sugar filling. So we're gonna place that into the middle of the pastry dough. If it comes out, there we go. Okay, just break it up a little bit and spread it out like this. Make sure that you have space for the edges because we need those edges to seal the Pop-Tart.
And Thais, we have the egg wash side up, right? So we're putting the
Yeah.
in the egg wash. Okay.
Yeah, egg wash side up, exactly. If it's difficult to spread out as much as I am doing, do not worry about it. Try to spread it out as much as you can without getting too far to the edges. It will spread out on its own when it cooks. All right, so now that we're done with that, we're gonna take the other piece of dough that we egg washed. Which one? Oh, thanks, babe. I missed one. All right, so we're gonna take the piece that we egg washed. We're gonna flip it over on top of it and crimp it down. How are we doing? Everybody's so focused. I love it. So again, take the part with the egg wash, flip it over to cover the one with the brown sugar filling, and just gently press down the edges. So it's egg wash against egg wash. Baby, you can talk if you want to. They're gonna hear you whispering.
We do hear you whispering.
I'm sorry.
I'm back at the brown sugar part. You did 1 tablespoon or 2 tablespoons?
I did 1 tablespoon. Yeah, if you overfill these, I know that we want to try to always get as much filling as possible. Because it spreads out, if you overfill them, you're going to get half of the filling out, like leaking through the Pop-Tart anyway. You want to try to maintain as much filling as possible in there.
Yo, this is, I can't stop eating it.
The filling? It's funny. It's the salt too, though.
My
Well,
roommate
it's
tried
everything.
it and legit almost stole it.
What?
My roommate tried the filling and legit almost stole the whole
Oh,
bowl.
no. I mean, that's great, but tell her to wait. Pop-Tart's coming soon.
The next step is my favorite part. It's like making empanadas at home or something.
Yeah. So before we get to that next step, let's put these in the fridge and fill the other ones that we have in the fridge.
Thais, what do you think?
Oh, wow. Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys. This is so exciting. It's all coming together. Oops.
While we're assembling the rest, do you want to tell us a little bit about how you got started with cooking?
With what?
How you got started with cooking?
With cooking. Oh God. Sure. I started, where was I? I was in high school. My mom had a restaurant. By the way, guys, so in my childhood, like we always cooked, like all the time. So I felt like I had that down. I had no idea what I was getting myself into though when mom opened her restaurant. And it was kind of obviously all hands on deck kind of thing with all the family helping out. And it was the hardest work I've ever done, but it was so gratifying to see people like enjoying the food. And like, you know, we literally had lines outside sometimes, which was awesome. But at that time, I wanted to study to be a criminal psychologist. So I was taking a bunch of psychology courses, like AP courses in high school. And then one day my mom put me in charge of dessert. And I will never forget this. We had a bunch of limoncello and ice cream. And there were some cookies that we had bought, some shortbread cookies. And so I made like a limoncello sundae. So it was like vanilla ice cream, limoncello on top, the crushed shortbread cookies, and like chopped basil. Put that out there in front of a table, and then came back into the kitchen and just like stared through the doors, the sliding or the kitchen doors, because there was like a little window. And I just like saw the reaction of the diner like eating this dessert that I just randomly created, and I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is what I want to do. And so I went to pastry school, and since then, yeah, that's basically why I'm still doing what I'm doing. Is I truly, truly love like preparing food. I love creating, and I just love to like surprise people in their palates. And I love the reaction to like when you are putting your heart into some food or any kind of food that you're preparing, and you hand it out and somebody feels that and like enjoys it. So that's how I got started. And then from there, it's just been a long journey. There's been a bunch of little things, lots of traveling. I started off as a pastry chef, worked my way up to chef de cuisine, worked my way up to, you know, leading different teams around the world. And now I'm in Cayman Islands and doing a lot of like really cool stuff. And Poptarts is one of those things that I was like, you know what? I really want to have something that like represents me in terms of like my memories or my childhood, and try to figure out how to relate to other people with that, as you do with food. So there we are, or here we are. All right. How are we doing with our patis?
Doing good.
Yes. Are we ready for the empanada part? The
Yeah.
filling? All right, so I'm going to switch the camera again. Okay. So let's take our Pop-Tarts out of the fridge. Our ovens are ready, right? So bring out your forks. And what I like to do is have a little bit of flour, like in a bowl or in a cup, to coat my fork in flour. just so that it doesn't get stuck to the dough once it starts heating up outside, or the temperature. Like I said, this dough is very forgiving, but we just want to make sure that we don't touch it too much or have it get too soft, because then it just becomes harder to work with. I'm just coating my dough, coating my flour. Sorry, coating the fork into my flour. And we're just gonna seal the edges like this. Just press it down like you would an empanada on all 4 sides. So this is the first side, you can see. All right. Like I said, do not worry if one side is like giving you more of a crust or an edge than the other side. We are going to trim these to make them beautiful. All right, so this is the first one that's fully crimped. Let's do that for the rest of them.
So I'm actually gonna have to wait to cook mine until later. So after this step, is it when I put them in the freezer? I mean, yeah, in the freezer? Okay.
Yeah, you put them in the freezer. Yeah, at this point, like once you're done setting them up so that all you have to do is put it into the oven when you're ready to bake. This is it. This is the last step.
And then trimming, obviously.
And trimming, yeah. And this is great too. So like, I like to have them frozen as well, just to put them right into the oven whenever you're craving it, because obviously it's always nice to have it warm. I do really like these cold though too. So honestly, either way. Cold, like after being baked, not raw, like this.
Oh my, I made a Pop-Tart.
Yeah. So the other thing is that we're going to poke some holes into the front. So I'll just show you a part to trim now. So I'm going to take this Pop-Tart. Okay. I'm going to trim the edges so that it's nice and straight, just with a knife. And then using my fork dipped in flour, I'm gonna poke 2 holes or 3 holes. What this does is this releases the pressure from the dough so it doesn't get super puffed up. Because what happens is once this is gonna bake, the layers of butter in this are what makes this dough flaky. But if there is no release of steam, then you're not gonna get a crusty dough. Okay? So I don't know if you see the holes. There you go. Okay. All right, so we'll do that for the rest of them. Are you guys sharing these Pop-Tarts with anybody today? No.
I was gonna, but now that I've tried them.
Now that you've just had a taste of the filling, you're like, I can't wait to make this also with my niece and nephew. They're like super into cooking. And this is something that obviously when you have all of the ingredients ready, I know that it's a process, but it's actually really simple. And I hope you guys find it just as simple as well. You just need a little bit of time, obviously, but the more you can prep ahead of time, which this is a really good recipe that you can prep ahead of time, you know, you can definitely do this with kids as well, which is something that I'm looking forward to. Can I see people's Pop-Tarts? Let me see the Pop-Tarts. Bring them up to the screen. Yay! I love it.
Ta-da.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love your cutting board too.
Thanks.
That's going to be a good photo backdrop for when they're baked with the white frosting. Into it.
So I'm a little limited in space. Can I start moving these to the cookie sheet they're going to bake on?
Yeah, I would actually, if you're limited on space, what I would suggest is while you're trying to make space, put them in the fridge so that the flour gets hard again before you bake it off.
Okay.
The thing with this stove also is that you want to try to cook it while it's still pretty firm, because again, you want the butter to start to melt, to create those layers as soon as you put it in the oven. You don't want to put in like an already warm dough, because then it's just not going to have the same reaction of the butter melting and those layers puffing up with the steam. Right. Good to go. So as Lauren was mentioning, if you guys aren't going to bake it right now, this is something that you can keep in the fridge for about 2 days. But honestly, just put it in the freezer. This keeps in the freezer as long as it's well wrapped, or put it in like a really tight, freezer bag or freezer Ziploc bag or glass container, whatever. It can be in the freezer for quite a while, for at least a month, right? Because it's frozen, nothing's gonna happen to it. Right before baking, the only difference is that it might take a bit longer for it to bake. Instead of, it's 350 for 10 to 15 minutes. I believe that's what I said. But it will just take a little longer. So instead of 15 minutes, it might take 20 minutes. Just basically determine it on how golden brown the crust is. So if it takes a little longer, if it takes 25 minutes, don't fret. It takes 25 minutes. As long as the crust gets a nice golden color, then that's when you take it out of the oven. Yes, Nare! I love it.
All right, Thais, I must sign off and bid you adieu.
All right.
But if y'all would like to continue the demo, I can give you host status so you can show them how to frost and all that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think we're gonna bake it off, and then frosting I'll leave up to you guys.
Okay.
Or I'll do a video or something.
No worries. It'll cut off when the thing ends.
Okay. What will cut off?
The recording will stop once the video, like everyone leaves the room.
Oh, okay. I see. All right, cool.
Awesome. Well, I
Yay.
appreciate you. Thank you for coming on and doing this.
Very excited about this.
Yeah, I can't wait to eat these. I'm really
I
gonna
know.
have to. I'm really gonna have to practice some some really good habits here. This is going to be a very difficult one to not eat, but yeah, I really appreciate you coming on. This was easy, as you said, and I think it's something that anyone can execute, and I'm excited to post pictures of the end result.
Yay, I'm excited to see them.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well. Thanks for coming out, everyone.
Nice to meet you.
All right, y'all. Enjoy.
All right. Are you guys ready to bake? I can't hear. Oh, okay, yeah, okay. All right, so let's take them out of the fridge. And we'll use that same egg wash to add some of that on top of it, to brush it on top.
Yeah, his mouth's on your head.
What? What did I do with my egg wash? Oh, it's here. All right, so we're gonna egg wash the tops. What this does is it just adds like a nice color, even color to it. If you don't have any more egg wash, it's not a big deal. But I just like that golden crusty look. All right, egg washed up, and I'll put it in the oven. Set your timers for 15 minutes. Check on it after. And like I said, if it's still not nice and golden, just keep it on for another 5 minutes and keep checking up on it every 5 minutes until you get to that desired color. Cool? Where did Lisa go?
I'm here. I'm in the back corner of the kitchen.
So while you wait for the Pop-Tarts to bake, since it's gonna take at least 20 minutes, I would suggest covering the frosting with like some plastic wrap, just so that it doesn't develop a crust. That's about it.
Yay!
Yay, we did it!
Thanks, Thais. I'm so excited.
I know, me too. I can't wait to see the after photos.
You put all 6 on one pan?
Yeah.
Like they're not gonna like spread too much or anything.
No, they don't spread. No, just keep it like, I don't know, like a few centimeters apart, so it's not necessarily touching.
That's my favorite.
Hmm? Oh my gosh, your house is gonna smell so good.
Okay, I got you.
Just in time, Izzy. All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna check out now, and then I will post a video on the frosting part. Oh my God, Isaiah!
Gosh.
Look at how chunky he is.
He's got bed head and everything.
Oh my God.
So cute.
Izzy,
Thighs.
look at your thighs. You are a little Pop-Tart.
Aw.
So cute.
Right, just in time. I finally put it in the oven. I was like, how am I gonna
Oh,
in like this oven? But
yes. Good job, Isaiah. Good timing.
Yay.
okay.
Yay, Zay Zay.
Have you made these brown sugar ones before where you have like a picture of how you iced it or you just glazed it?
No, I just iced it, but it's the same. It looks the same as like the other ones that I posted. I just do like a spoon over it, and then kind of just like let it spread a little bit. But like, so once you take it out of the oven, you just let it sit for about, I don't know, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, half an hour if you want to just like fully cool down. Because if you add the icing while it's still hot, then it's just gonna like all drizzle down. You're not even gonna get a good coating of it.
Yeah.
So I would just recommend to let it sit for a little bit and then frost it. Yeah, frost it like you would a cake or like you would a cookie. Like just add a spoon to it and just kind of like let it drip.
I wish I had like some kind of like sprinkles to like
I
sprinkle.
know. I wish.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have sprinkles.
I do too. That's a good idea.
I might have rainbow sprinkles, but I was like, oh, maybe something that like
Well,
looks
that's-
really.
Yeah, I think I only have rainbow sprinkles too, though. But you know, though, if you have like Lauren had the sugar in the raw, which is that coarse sugar,
That's
like
not-
that'll on top of it too.
Yeah, I don't have that, but I was like, dang, that's what I was thinking. I was like, maybe I should like go to the store. But if rainbow sprinkles is cute too, then rainbow sprinkles too.
Yeah, these are the sprinkles I have.
Yeah, that's what I have. I have these.
Yeah,
Mhm.
me too. Maybe I'll do one with the sprinkles just to take a good photo.
Yeah.
Cute.
Right. Add something.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you guys, thanks for joining. This was fun.
Yeah, yeah. I hope mine come out good. The first one that I put brown sugar in, I spilled brown sugar all over the edges. So I was, you know, before I had to continue. That's why I was like, okay, so I'm back to the brown sugar. How much brown sugar did you have? Mine didn't mold that as well as yours did. So I kind of had to like, mine didn't like mold well into the center as well as yours did. So I kind of had to like carefully stack it, you know? Like it didn't wet.
And you use dark brown sugar?
Yeah, yeah.
Thing.
Well, we'll see.
How was your show, Lisa?
It was good. It was funny that when I was watching, because I was kind of far away, so because you had yours next to each other, I thought you were putting it all on the side of one piece of dress. And then I looked closer and realized. So that was helpful. Didn't have Pop-Tarts.
Yeah.
But I was actually really happy with the consistency. So I'm
Awesome.
good. I'm so excited to eat it.
Did you find it simple to make, you guys? Like,
oh yeah, this is really easy.
yeah. I think the prep time for the dough is what takes the longest, like the waiting of it to set and like it all and like the rolling it out and the cutting. But like after that, it's pretty simple.
Yeah,
and then you can fill it with what you want.
Like I don't think I ever really wanted to make pie dough because I was like, it sounds like a hassle, but this is really easy. Like
yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
It's honestly, I think it's easier than cake.
Yeah. No, because it's only like what 4 ingredients, and then just mix it together and throw it in the fridge, and you just roll it out.
Yeah, you have pie dough. Yeah. So like the pie dough that I've been making, I've just been making it in big batches, and I leave it like the way that we started in around like hockey puck. And I just keep it in the freezer. And whenever I need to roll one out, I just defrost it. I leave it out for like an hour, or like half an hour, and then I can roll it out and I have pie dough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I was super afraid of that and intimidated, but it was really fine. It was like, oh,
yeah.
How do we do this?
Well, that's why I did the video too, because I figured I was like reading through the recipe and I was like, I understand this because I work in a kitchen. But like, will other people find this intimidating? Because there's like, it's pretty detailed steps. So I was like, you know what, let me just make a video because that'll be easier for people to follow. I know I'm a visual learner.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No, I think seeing the texture in the video really helped. Like when you're like through with your fingers, and then even afterwards when you're like just smushing and stuff, like that helped.
Yay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Alrighty then. Well, I can't wait to see the end results.
Yay! Hey, anytime you want to do anything like this again, I'm in. It was really fun.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. Hey. Yeah, I think I'm gonna try to do like an Instagram live one just to see.
Yeah.
Right? But it'll have to be something that's a bit shorter because I feel like this was a little long because of all the dough work.
Yeah.
But something that like, I don't know. I'd have to think about it. But send ideas if you have any.
I feel like it would have to be like savory stuff, no? Like stuff that doesn't have to go into the oven.
Yeah. Or even like if it's something as simple as like pizza dough, right? Like how to make that pizza dough that I've been making and just how to mix it and let it set. And that can be just like one part. And then the live part for the part 2 would be like assembling and making your own pizza or something.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Like break it up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, I have a request because I don't remember what they're called, but I remember, Taste, it might have been in like high school. You made these like ball cookies. It's like the ones that are like covered in powdered sugar and they have like nuts.
Oh, the polvorones.
Yes! And I've had other people make them and I'm like, they're never as good.
That is so funny.
That as a holiday cookie would make me so happy.
Yeah, we can definitely do that. Those are super easy too.
Great.
Yeah, we can do that. Requested step.
Especially if you did it like themes, like her talking about holiday cookies, like that'd be dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
We do like 12 days of cookies or something.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, I am a cookie monster. You already know.
Yeah, that'll be cool. All right, send holiday cookie stuff that you want to learn or that like you're interested in doing. And then I'll figure out how to like simplify it so that it's an easy step-by-step, do it all together kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes. Good idea, you guys.
These smell so good.
Hmm?
These already smell so good.
I know, I smell it too. Don't open the oven.
I know.
Not until the first 15 minutes are up at least.
Yes. Oh, so excited. Okay, I have a question. So then like you let them cool to frost them and then would you heat it up again if you wanted it warm like a Pop-Tart?
Yeah.
Well, like
so what
like in the toaster?
Yeah, well, in a toaster, like an actual, where's our toaster, by the way? Rodrigo like cleared it up so it looks good for the video. But like, you know, the slotted toaster in that one, I don't like to put it in the toaster itself because the frosting. But what I do is I put the button down and then the heat, I put the Pop-Tart on top of it and it just heats up the crust. You know, it's just enough. Yeah, but if you have a toaster oven, Nuri, I know you have a toaster oven, then you can just put it in there too.
Yeah. Oh, that's smart though. Just put it on top of the toaster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it's just to warm it up quickly. And then, you know, you don't have to turn on your oven and all of that other jazz.
I actually saw this life hack. I don't know if it works, but you take a regular toaster and then you flip it sideways as long as it doesn't have loose crumbs like falling out. You flip it sideways and then use it like that so it looks like more of like inserts versus like vertical. You know what I mean?
Interesting.
No, you don't
but
know
like still use it as a regular toaster?
Yeah. I'll have to find the video. I was like, oh, that's a good hack.
Also, like, do I want crumbs all over?
Yeah.
Like,
You have to like, your toaster out first, yeah.
This is exactly the same. I love it. I feel you on that. And then there's crumbs.
oh man. Oh.
All right.
Lisa, are you working? Where are you working? Are you still doing Broadway? Or
Yeah,
off Broadway or musicals and
all of it. Yeah, different
yeah,
capacities. So I, on stage whenever possible, and then I work backstage as well, like in the in betweens. And
yeah,
yeah, I was working on a show, and we got shut down with everybody else. So we're
yeah.
out for like the better part, probably for like a year, to be honest. I think we're out
Oh
for
my
at least.
God.
I know. So in this time, I've been like thinking about learning other skills and like what I want to do, So it's like
Mm-hmm.
crazy, really crazy.
Um,
But I'm not like freaked out about it. I'm always someone who's working like, a million jobs. So I've been grateful to be
yeah,
able to chill a little bit. So
that's
yeah,
nice.
yeah,
Are you just collecting unemployment for now then? Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
I am.
Everybody's just collecting unemployment,
Yeah, it's like all you can do, And like you have your big emergency savings for whatever, but unemployment,
Mm-hmm.
fine, it'll get you through.
It's so crazy.
I know. Were you guys affected?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
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 Hey, so people at the hotel. You're at a
Huh?
hotel, right? Are you at a hotel or a restaurant?
I was overseeing different hotels and restaurants within the Marriott brand.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's why I was always traveling because I was like, creating recipes, changing up concepts and training teams and stuff like that. But yeah, without travel, that job doesn't exist. We were furloughed for a while. And then, being stuck here and just talking to people, and obviously Rodrigo's here, and the whole like back and forth distance relationship for the past 3 years was a bit much. And so I was offered something here and took it. Might as well. Like, honestly, it's a little bubble. We live in a little bubble here because it's like normal for us here right now, kind of like we're not accepting, there's no tourism, all that stuff is off, which sucks. But like the masks we don't have to wear masks anymore. It's not like, it's not have lockdown anymore. We don't have like curfew anymore. So it's a small island, right? Like once you shut it down and don't allow people in there, the people that have remained, that's about it. So we'll see what happens when tourism starts up again and how everybody reacts to it and how the government reacts to it and whatnot. But in the meantime, thankfully I've been busy. So it's good. Lots of like private chef gigs and stuff like that. So it's been good. Yeah. I can't complain.
Amazing. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Yeah.
And Nick has kids. That's so exciting.
As a baby.
I know. It's like getting so fussy right now. I mean, not fussy, but like rubbing his head like on me. So I'm like, do you need to eat or like, do I need to put you down? I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm wondering if I should do that because now I got 2 minutes on the oven. So I might step over or get off for now.
My 15-minute timer went off just now and it's still not ready. So I just put 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, mine don't have like, they're still pretty pale. So I put 10 more minutes.
You're just waiting until it's like golden.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine is basically out of egg wash. So should I just be looking for it to look more like done? I don't know if it will get the gold color, right?
Yeah, I mean, it'll get some kind of an edge still. So you should be fine. But yeah, I would check it after the 15-minute marker and probably put another 10 minutes just in case. 350 is pretty low in house oven. When I do it 350, I'm using a convection oven at work, which is more like 375, 380. So yeah, so I'd probably add another 10 minutes regardless, and then take it out. Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, thanks for joining. I can't wait to see the follow-up.
Yeah. So good to see you both. You both.
Good to see you too. I know, this is awesome. Send me some of those cookie ideas.
You got it. I'm excited.
I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay.
Bye. Bye, Daisy.
Bye.
So chunky. I love it. All right, bye.